There's so many people that are not aware of where their money is going, and quite frankly, I think for most this is intentional. Why check the credit card balance if you can keep swiping? Why care about your egregious car loan if you have the new Lexus or Mercedes? If it isn't hurting me right now, what does it matter? But this mindset is what can create a lifetime of financial struggle, and I'm all for working hard today for an easier tomorrow. Hey, my name is Cyrus. I'm a creative entrepreneur that has spent the last 4 years going from a derpy high school senior to a somewhat less derpy six-figure business owner, and I've tracked every single dollar I've spent along the way. Obviously, my situation and lifestyle aren't going to align with everyone else's, so don't take what I say as law. But I would like to think that I have a fair amount of knowledge on this topic and can provide some value to nearly everyone that's watching. So I would like to discuss some of my key takeaways from reflecting on my last 4 years of spending, starting with lesson number 1, lifestyle creep. When we make more money, we want to spend more money. It's this justification of, I've been working so hard, so I deserve better. And to a degree, that can make sense. But a lot of people get stuck in this revolving door of making more but spending even more, to where they're saving even less than before. And what's the point of making more money just to save the same amount or less? And I'm guilty of it myself. In 2024, my income 3x'd and my spending equally 3x'd. And I made a lot more money than in 2023. But my profit wasn't that much more because I was spending outrageously. Okay, I know. Editing Cyrus here. That was a bad example. I was being a little bit dramatic because clearly the profit was actually a lot better than I thought it was last year. But the point being that I still overspent on a bunch of things I didn't need because I made a lot more money than the year before. Anyways, get back to the video. Being very intentional about delayed gratification and not just keeping up with the Joneses and wanting to upgrade your life in every way possible. Wait another year to get the nicer apartment. Don't suddenly start eating out at super fancy restaurants all the time. Don't start traveling super bougie and super nice hotels and flying first class. I think that there's a way to balance this where you can determine what are those factors that are most important to you and spend unapologetically there, but to be upgrading every single sector of your life when you're making more, it's not allowing you to actually see any of the benefits of making more money. Is it super ideal to have 2 roommates and only 1 bathroom? Not necessarily, but it's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, and it allows me to take advantage of other factors about this place that are really great. Cheap rent, the space is large, and the location is exactly where I need it to be. I'm able to walk to work, walk to the gym, and that saves a lot of money on gas, which actually moves me into my next point, which would be lesson number 2, transportation costs. One of the biggest expenses that young adults have is a car payment. So whether you take the time to educate yourself on what is a good or a bad car loan will determine how your 20s go, honestly, financially. You know what I did right when I got out of school?
Made the brilliant decision to buy a brand new car.
No. I put my head down, I worked really hard, and I invested in my skill of making more money. Do I have the most beautiful car? No. But my girl, Callie here, she gets the job done. She's still kicking. Could I technically afford to buy a new car? Maybe. But am I going to? No. This idea goes back to lifestyle creep, but truly, in your early 20s, you don't deserve a new car. You should be shopping used cars. You should be doing your due diligence of educating yourself on what is a good and fair deal on a car, and set yourself up for success. Just because you have a car that works right now doesn't mean it's going to work forever, so start saving now for that future car purchase that you know you're going to have in the next 5-10 years. I have started saving over $1,000 a month, having a future car purchase in mind. This way I'm not stuck in a bind where my car craps out, I need a new car desperately, and I just have to buy something and end up with this atrocious car loan that adds 5-10 years to my ability to find financial freedom. Cars are depreciating assets. It's not like a home that's going to increase in value over time. They lose their value the second you drive them off the lot. But like I said, I have been saving for a rainy day. I have a car fund that I've been building up. What I've learned from tracking all of my expenses and just being very conscious financially is that it's very important to plan ahead. And this leads me into my next point, which is lesson number 3, meal prepping versus eating out. I get it. Eating out is fun, it is enjoyable, and to do it socially every once in a while makes complete sense. I think it's a great value to spend some time with friends, grab some drinks or grab a dinner, whatever that looks like for you. But to be doing this consistently day in and day out is definitely draining your bank account. But if you're eating out by yourself, what are you even doing? I don't really care if it's more convenient, if it's a late night. Like, it's time to be an adult and get ahead of these things. Go to the store when you need to, meal prep when you need to, so that you're ahead of these things. It's much harder to convince yourself to go through the Taco Bell drive-thru when you have a meal waiting for you at home. It's not the most glamorous, it's not the most fun, but it will save your bank account. You can even see in the trends over the last 6 months, and even changing where I've been shopping for my groceries. I used to shop at a more luxurious grocery store out of convenience because it was on top of my gym, but my $600-700 a month of groceries turned into $300 or $400 by switching where I was shopping. Okay, so I just got back from the store and I just bought everything that I need to meal prep my lunches for one whole week. So for me, that looks like a bag of white rice, and I got 4 of these packets that are a pound of 100% grass-fed ground beef, 93.7. I usually get the ground turkey, but they were all out, so I got this ground beef, which this is actually more expensive than what I usually get. But to get 4 pounds of that and that bag of white rice, that totals to $31.53. So if we do the numbers real quick, $4.50 per day for lunch, which is very affordable. That's like at least half, if not a third, of what you'd be spending if you were eating out for lunch every day. So I know it is not the most convenient thing, but I spend about 30-45 minutes cooking. I get a week's worth of lunches and I spend very little money. And it's healthier, it is more affordable, and all around just better. I'm not saying that you can't ever eat out for lunch, but just do this 90% of the time, and then eat out when it makes sense socially, and you'll be much better off. And that brings us to lesson number 4. Invest in yourself. I promise this one is a bit more of a positive note. So as most of you probably know by now, I run my own business. I'm a full-time filmmaker, photographer, creative entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. And it has been an expensive business to build. You can see that in the last few years, I have progressively spent more and more money on my business, and especially in 2024, moving to Chicago. New gear, building out a desk, having proper storage for backups, paying for rent for a studio now. All of these things have come with a large increase in income as well. As much as I will tell you that there are things to cut back on in terms of spending, I will say that spending and investing in yourself and your ability to make more money is never a bad thing. This doesn't mean that you should spend extravagantly because it's all write-offs and it doesn't matter, but I wouldn't shy away from investing in yourself and investing in your business because it will likely pay off in being able to make more money. And at the end of the day, you can save as aggressively as you want to, but your biggest superpower is improving your ability to make even more money. As a freelancer, I find that it's super important to live below your means because income is pretty unstable. Live below your means, figure out what is a sustainable amount that gives you the lifestyle that you want and is also reasonable for you to live by month to month depending on your income, because the last thing you want is to be stressing out about money and not being able to afford to live, especially when there's not that much coming in. So why is tracking your expenses so important? Avoiding your finances does not make the problem go away. I feel like so much of our country and our world is just used to swiping the credit card and never thinking about it and just avoiding all of the debt that's piling up in the background. But starting with just categorizing your expenses at least allows you to know what your spending habits are, identify where your weaknesses are, and then you can move forward from that. I'm not saying that you need to live some miserable life where you're counting every single penny, and I know that what I do is a little bit extreme, but I think that if you just start roughly tracking your expenses, it'll allow you to see what you're doing wrong, make some changes, and set yourself up for a successful future financially. And this can be pretty easy. There's so many budgeting apps out there, and you can connect your bank accounts and your credit cards to an app, and then inside of the app categorize your expenses. And then I have a expense sheet on Google Sheets that I've been using for the last 4 years, and it has all of my expenses from 2021 through now in 2025, and I'll just plug and play now. So I take the data that's in my budgeting app and I just plug it in to this sheet, and you might be wondering why. It's pretty redundant, but honestly, being a money nerd, as you may say, I love looking back over the last few years and being able to see the trends, and it allows me to make a video like this. And to make things super simple for you guys, if you're interested in having a sheet like this, I actually made a template for it. It is free to download, first link in the description below. I hope that is helpful for you guys and will allow you to see your financial journey across the next few years. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching and just want to seriously encourage you to take this small action and get ahead of the problem while you can. It's not that much work to just go through, take your last month of expenses, categorize it all, see what you're doing, compare it to this month once it's over, and you'll be able to see the trends that you have, and then you can make improvements moving forward. But I hope that this video is helpful for you. If it was, subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know if you agree with the points that I made or if you think that I'm just completely out of touch. Either way, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.